Did it work?
Yes, it worked.
Awesome. Oh yeah, there's a little recording thing. Okay, excellent. Up next we have Oregon Health and Science University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Ayler, and I am the Pediatric Residency Program Director. I think I have some residents on here still, and I'm so sorry, Dan, are we talking about our program now or waiting until the infographic comes up?
That's a fair question. I think waiting until the infographic comes up, this is literally just a chance for everybody to very briefly introduce themselves.
Great, wonderful. I think one of my residents, Christine Din, is on, and I don't know if Anna is on. Yes, Anna is on, if you guys want to say hello, and Claire is on.
Hi, my name's Christine. I am a second-year resident at OHSU. I am from San Jose, California, and my pronouns are she and her. Nice to meet everybody.
Excellent, welcome. So up next we have University of Arizona.
Hi all, it's me again, Rachel Crampton, Associate Program Director for the U of A. With me on the call today, I have our incredible program coordinator, Larissa Gronenberg, who's there waving, and then also some of our fabulous residents, Cassie and Melanie, and I think Ricardo's there somewhere, and Kevin's there somewhere, so they'll be around to help answer questions. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, U of A, woo-hoo!
Woohoo!
And then up next we have University of Colorado.
Hi, I'm Laura Lockwood. I'm one of the Associate Program Directors for the University of Colorado. And with us tonight, we have Laurel and Brendan, two of our chiefs. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Laurel, one of the chiefs.
And I'm Brendan, the other chief.
Excellent. And then we have my program, Valley Children's.
He's not partial at all. Hi, everyone. My name is Vinny Vijayan. I'm the Pediatric Program Director at Valley Children's Hospital. Dan Marriott is our chief. And then we have two of our wonderful residents on, Ashay Vyas and Kelly Haiti. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hey, everybody. My name is Ashay Vyas. I'm a third year at Valley Children's.
And hey, I'm Kelly Haiti. I am a first year at Valley Children's.
All right, so since we all now know each other really well, I think it's about time to get going with the actual presentation. So without further ado, KAISER Oakland, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dan. So as I said, I'm Nami Javeri. I'm the incoming program director at the KAISER Northern California Pediatric Residency Program. And I'm really excited to share about our program with you. We are a small program with a really supportive family feel. At the same time, we have immense resources being associated with KAISER Permanente. And so I think you get the best of both worlds with our program. We have 10 residents a year for a total of 30 residents. And we have two tracks. One is a categorical track, and we also have an MPH track. And how that works is medical students can apply to match into the MPH track, which is a 4-year track, 3 years of pediatric residency, and a 4th year of an MPH at UC Berkeley, where I did my MPH. And during that 4th year, the MPH is fully funded, and you get a 4th year salary and opportunities to moonlight to continue your clinical skills. So it's a really wonderful opportunity for those interested in public health. Our primary clinical site is the KAISER Oakland Medical Center, as well as the affiliated East Bay hospitals for KAISER, as well as clinics. And like I said, we are based in Oakland, which is an amazing dynamic community, and it is one of the most diverse cities in the country. And so we're really excited to be serving a very broad patient population. And we have a very broad socioeconomic group of patients, ranging from Medi-Cal or Medicaid patients to a lot of working class families, to our physicians are all KAISER members. And we really love the fact that we really strive for health equity across all patients, regardless of insurance payer class. And so our patients can get access to really great resources and care. In addition to Oakland being incredibly diverse, we have an amazing food and restaurant scene, an amazing art scene and incredible outdoor spaces. There's nearby rock climbing and hiking. You can drive out to the mountains for skiing, drive out to the ocean for surfing. I mean, it's really a wonderful location. In terms of the support for our residents, we have our wonderful program coordinator, Trixie Bolda, as well as a dedicated research coordinator who's a PhD, MPH, who works directly and is designated to work with our pediatric residents. And she's been incredible in helping us with our scholarly work, with our QI and research, a lot of great publications and national and international presentations that have come out of our program. In terms of where our residents go, so taking a step back, we have a full breadth of pediatric subspecialties at Kaiser Oakland. We are a referral center for Northern California. So we have everything from pediatric allergy to pediatric neurosurgery. My home is a level 3+ NICU, which is a referral center, and we get a lot of interesting cases. We have wonderful primary care and preventive medicine. And so from our program, about a third go on to primary care, a third go into hospital medicine, and a third go into fellowships. And just as an example, for the class of 2020, we had residents go to the emergency medicine program at Columbia University, to neonatology at Oregon Health Sciences, and to Stanford. In terms of curriculum highlights, we have a 3+1, or also known as an X+Y schedule, where residents do 3 weeks of a given rotations, be it the wards or NICU, followed by a dedicated week of continuity clinic. And so the highlights of this are that residents don't find themselves splitting their time between being on wards and then going to clinic in the afternoon. It's really protected time on their rotations and protected time in clinic. And during the clinic week, we have a longitudinal community advocacy piece that's 2 half days a week during the clinic weeks. And that's where our residents are able to partner with community and organizations and local schools to do amazing health education work. As I mentioned, we have an incredibly diverse community that we're serving, and we have a really robust equity, inclusion, diversity emphasis at Kaiser Permanente. We have a hospital-wide Grand Round series, and our residents have been really involved in developing a curriculum that we're in the process of rolling out. And we'll be doing cultural humility workshops for all of our residents this year. And so that's something we're really proud of and recognize as incredibly important. So overall, we're really proud of our program. As I mentioned, it's a small, intimate program where residents and faculty really get to know one another. We don't have fellows outside of hospital medicine. And so the residents are really on the front line doing procedures, taking care of complex patients alongside the faculty. And we have an immense amount of resources, and we have incredible residents. That's probably the best part of our program. And so we're really happy that we get to speak to you guys today. And please share some questions in the chat or via Twitter. And hopefully we get a chance to answer those. We also have our Twitter handle, and we also have a really great Instagram page. So please join us on Instagram if you'd like to learn more about our program and see what we're up to.
Thanks a lot for that, Dr. Javeri. I think we can move forward with our next program, Oregon Health and Science University.
Hello again, everyone. Nami, thank you for sending us a wonderful fellow. We very much appreciate it. I am super excited to talk with you about OHSU, and I think I would echo the sentiment about having a family feel at our program. We are a medium-sized program. We have 56 residents. They are mostly categorical pediatrics, although we do have a child neurology and neurodevelopmental disabilities program as well. And those trainees spend the first 2 years with us in PEDS residency training. I would say because of our size and the culture, we have this fantastic relationship with one another, both residents amongst one another, as well as faculty amongst one another, and faculty with residents. It really is a very intimate and family feel. Because we have that really close relationship, we also are really proud of the amount of autonomy that residents get in a graduated way over time in residency. We want for residents on day one to be really committing to what they think is going on with their patients and what they want to do with them. I think the size and the culture of our program really lends itself to that nicely. Dornbecker is a very busy tertiary care center within the city of Portland, but it is the catchment for the state at large, as well as for Southwest Washington and parts of Northern California as well. So we really draw from a very large area and have a nice balance of general peds bread and butter, and then the fascinomas that come to a tertiary care center. I am very grateful for the culture of OHSU that values diversity, equity, and inclusion from a very high level. Our president has taken a very strong stand toward anti-racism and is very conscientious about really being intentional about actions that we can take as an institution and as a society. And I think that top-down and bottom-up culture really is so important for our trainees and our patients and our community. When it comes to where our trainees go, we have about a 50-50 split of general pediatrics. I do lump hospital medicine into that because historically it has not been a required fellowship. So it's not all ambulatory gen peds, and about 50% enter fellowship. We have an incredible city. Portland has amazing food, music, outdoor activities, all of those well, I guess we do have some small islands, but all of the diversity of geography that was listed earlier with the Western region, I think we have in the state of Oregon. And you don't have to go that far outside of Portland. Tons of outdoor adventuring. We don't have dedicated tracks. We favor pathways and a strong focus on individualized curriculum, making sure that we are cultivating a very strong Gen Peds foundation, both with our general pediatricians as well as with exposure to all of the core specialties. And then want to make sure that all of our residents have an individualized learning plan that helps them meet their unique learning goals. And that is often a mix of clinical and academic interest. We like to have a broad view of what scholarship means, looking not only at sort of traditional research, but also quality improvement, child advocacy, education scholarship. We want for residents to have something extra that they are passionate about that they pursue during residency. Most of our residents' time is spent on the hill at Dornbecker, which when it's not super smoky, has fantastic views of the city. We do have 2 other clinical sites though that get them more out in a community type setting and less of an academic medical center. So I love this program. I love the people. It is a wonderful place to live and work, and I'm so glad that you all are excited about pediatrics and excited about the Western region.
Thank you so much for that overview, Dr. Ayler. I think we can move forward to University of Arizona.
Hello there. So again, I'm me again. So University of Arizona is located obviously in Tucson. And Tucson, for people who aren't familiar with Arizona, is like, is the groovy, not big city part of Arizona. It's a college town. We are a mid-size academic program with a lot of collaboration betwixt and between our residents and our attendings. As the slide says, think academic, but like family. We're a close family. We don't have a great number of fellowships, and what that means is that residents are working shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip with all of the faculty throughout their education. We do emphasize the opportunity to go global. We have a Spanish language health disparities track But we also, even for people not doing that track, have the opportunity for residents to either go abroad to do rotations or to go to more rural or remote places within the US. All of our residents are doing advocacy. We are only about an hour from the border, and so that gives us plenty of opportunities for advocacy, border health types of issues. We also, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized Native American tribes, and so we have that as a source of advocacy as well, and just all of the day-to-day stuff is in addition. We do prioritize resident well-being in a couple of different ways, with there being a well-being committee, the institution as well, Banner Health, which is the hospital system, also prioritizes resident well-being in a variety of ways. And then, as with the other programs have said, in terms of diversity and inclusion, it is central to our didactic curriculum, and we have a lot of focus in both didactics within our program and within the institution, looking at healthcare disparities. We have a graduated level of autonomy throughout our program, as I think our residents will attest. And then we also do pathways, which really we have 48 residents and 48 pathways. Each pathway over the course of the 3 years tailored more and more narrowly to what an individual resident wants. We share in categorical peds, we share our world with a PEDS EM combined program, which is a great opportunity. We have a pediatric emergency room and a great opportunity for that synthesis. And then, yeah, I guess I talked really, really fast, but usually I can talk forever. Tucson itself, as an East Coast girl, so for those of you who are tuning in from the East Coast, as an East Coast girl, I was really worried that Tucson was going to be a little bit little for me, and I can tell you that I was so wrong. It has all of the things that bigger cities have in terms of live theater and live music and terrific food. We are a UNESCO gastronomy city, the only one in the country, and there's just tons to do, as well as the mountains are right outside our back door. And so when you have a free moment, if you have a half day, or even you get off of clinic a few minutes early, there's always a place that you can go and hike or bike or camp just outside our back door. And that's it. So welcome.
Thanks, Dr. Crampton. We can move forward with University of Colorado.
All right, thank you guys all for joining. Really excited to be able to tell you guys about our program. As you can tell, I'm not Adam Rosenberg, but you can see he's our program director. He's currently out on vacation in the mountains enjoying the Colorado life, but he wishes he could be here to kind of walk you through the program. Up in the right corner, you can see Kathy and Bonnie, our program coordinators, who you guys will get to know very well throughout interview season. I'll kind of walk you through our program right to left on this infographic. So we are a large residency program. We have, this says 38, but we actually have 39 residents a year, and that's a mixture of our categorical pediatric residents, med peds, peds neuro, a newly founded peds genetics program, and then we're one of a handful of programs in the country that has a peds physical medicine and rehab combined program. We too like to take the very flexible, individualized approach with our curriculum. And so our residents have a highly flexible, very career-specific trajectory, but we also have a few pathways available for our residents. I would say the majority of our residents aren't in a pathway, but we have these specific pathways available to kind of supplement for people who have very specific career interests in global health. We have a new medical education pathway that's just starting this year. The same with a new urban health pathway. And then we also have an accelerated research pathway. Our residents rotate through 3 different main hospital systems. So we have Children's Hospital Colorado, which is our academic large freestanding children's hospital in Aurora, which is essentially Denver. We also have Denver Health, which is our community safety net hospital system that our residents spend quite a bit of time in. And then our residents also rotate through the University of Colorado Hospital for their well baby and NICU rotations. At the majority of these sites, our residents have a lot of opportunity for graduated autonomy, and actually will round on the Gen Peds wards without attendings present on certain days a week, just so as a senior resident, they can really get the chance to kind of spread their wings and learn what it feels like to be autonomous, but to have attendings really closely supporting them for whatever they need. From a curriculum highlight standpoint, we have academic half days, which we switched to a handful of years ago from a traditional noon conference schedule, just to give our residents a little bit more protected kind of half day didactic time where they're not also trying to care for patients, so they can really focus and learn. And it's been really well regarded from our residents in terms of education, but also just their wellness and being able to learn amongst their colleagues. We have longitudinal small groups, which function similarly to our academic half days. It's a protected half day session for our residents to really get together in a small group and discuss the intangibles of medicine, things like implicit bias, how to practice with cultural sensitivity and those sorts of things. We have a unique evidence-based clinical effectiveness conference that all of our interns participate in, where they take data specific to our hospital systems and explore some sort of clinical issue, and most of them have turned that into some sort of scholarly project that they've carried on throughout residency. And so that's a really loved part of our intern year for our residents. We have a career-focused educational block, which is really just part of our flexible approach to kind of career-specific pediatric training. And then we have a lot of really interesting grassroots resident committees that are focused on things like advocacy, diversity and inclusion, and also medical education that are really driven by the residents trying to address the issues that they see as being the most important. And then in terms of program highlights, like I said, we have our residents training at kind of both a nationally ranked children's hospital and then also a community hospital, which gives them a really nice dichotomy of experiences. We have a very large catchment area for our program, so the surrounding states and then some, that we will see a very broad range of rare and common pediatric diagnoses. Denver is a great place to live. We ski, we hike, we have a lot of sunshine, and enjoy being outdoors. You don't have to love doing those things to come here, but those are things that people enjoy doing often. We have a really close-knit resident community. I think the highlight of our program for me is our residents and how much of a family they are for one another. I would think with the amount of time they spend together in the hospital, they wouldn't really want to see each other as much outside the hospital, but the opposite is true. They are really a very close group of people, and we're really proud to have that close-knit community. And then similar to what other programs have presented, our graduates pursue fellowship and kind of primary care hospital medicine in kind of a 50-50 split. It is not uncommon for our residents to want to continue to train at one of our many fellowship programs here at Colorado, but we also have residents who will match to many competitive fellowships around the country as well. So I think those are the highlights. The one thing that the chiefs wanted me to not forget to mention to you guys is that we have both our Twitter handle and our Instagram thing here, but we don't use Twitter. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, they have a very active Instagram presence, and our chiefs are doing a great job with it. So please follow us on Instagram, and you'll get to know us a little bit better that way.
Thank you, Dr. Lockwood, and we will move forward to the last program in our breakout room, Valley Children's Healthcare.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I'm really excited for this opportunity to share our residency program with you. So our hospital, Valley Children's, is located in the Central Valley in Madera, California. It is a very large children's hospital. It's a freestanding hospital, 330 beds. We are the only children's hospital in that area, so most of the hospitals are at least greater than 150 miles away. So our catchment area is huge. We serve 1.3 million children over 13 counties. And because of that, as a resident, you will see pretty much everything. I think that's what's really nice about our program. You'll have the experience to see a lot of general pediatric cases, as well as very complicated diseases as well. So each year we take 13 residents. Our main clinical sites are at Valley Children's. We do have a couple continuity clinics outside of the hospital for those that want to be exposed to more rural pediatrics. We do have a couple rotations at Stanford. So it's adolescent medicine and DPP that our residents go there for. So our curriculum, we do have an academic half day, and that way the residents are free from clinical responsibilities and actually can focus on their education. We pride ourselves on advocacy. So because we live in the Central Valley and our children they just suffer from so many healthcare disparities, our residents are very active in advocacy and community engagement. So we have a very robust community pediatrics rotation. Simulation is also something that our residents have exposure to. We have a physician, an ICU physician that's actually had a fellowship completed in simulation. So she does a lot of simulation with our residents, and the residents really enjoy that. Because as a part of residency, research and quality improvement are all very important. This is also integrated into our curriculum. They have a quality improvement curriculum that the residents are expected to complete throughout their 3 years here. Most of residents have a timeline for completion of scholarly oversight just to make sure that they can get their research projects completed on time without the pressures. I mean, residency is just a difficult time. It's a difficult 3 years, and we want to make sure that's as less stressful as possible. So one of the things that I really appreciate about our program is just the dedication to work-life balance. So our residents have it's called a well-being package or well-being program. As a part of that program, they have a wellness stipend that they can use for activities that help their well-being. So painting, some of our residents like to go camping, so they use it for that. They also get a excused quarterly wellness day off where they can attend dental appointments, physician appointments, and things like that. They also have a faculty coach assigned to them, and the coach helps guide them in different domains. So clinical competence, wellness, scholarly oversight, and then their academics, and just to make sure that they are doing well throughout their program and any issues or concerns that they have are addressed throughout their 3 years here. And then just like everyone else mentioned, I know our program also has a huge emphasis on diversity, inclusion, and equity, and that is also something that we pride ourselves on. Fresno, it's a nice place to live. There's a lot of different activities. People that like camping, hiking, there's a lot of good restaurants in this area. So it is a nice place to live. The quality of life is good. Expenses are pretty cheap compared to other places in California. And I think I love it here. I think we have a very good program. I love our residents. We have a great, happy group of residents. They all work together very well. And it's a great program. I hope you guys have the opportunity to check out our website. We have a tour of the hospital on our website as well as on our Instagram page. So please check us out. Thank you, Dan.
Valley children, futures worth fighting for.
And there's a soundbite from our in-house DJ, I guess, DJ Ashe. Anyways, thank you to everybody for that awesome, rapid overview of all the programs. I think it's time to move forward to the Q&A section. So while y'all were talking about all the different programs, the mods in this breakout room were compiling the questions that have come through, and we have them on a separate list right now, so it makes it easier for us to go through the list of questions. The first one is going to be taken care of by Sarah T. from KAISER NorCal, so I will hand the floor over to you to address that one.
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to answer Katie's question, assuming it was in regards to KAISER. In terms of whether residents carry their own patients during their clinic weeks. So yes, definitely. You actually have the option to be a patient's PCP in the chart. And so you do have your own panel. And you have the opportunity as part of our first week of life or newborn nursery rotation to impanel patients that way, or just people you meet in clinic.
Excellent, thanks for that. The next question is going to be taken care of by Lydia, also from KAISER NorCal, and can be directed towards any program. And I'll let you take care of that question.
Sure. So the question was from Ahmed. He was asking, how will the lack of Step 2 CS impact the international medical grad applicants, and I think that could also apply to non-international students as well. I don't have a specific answer for that. I was hoping to direct that question to the program directors on this breakout room.
Maybe we don't have an answer either. Get back to you.
Yeah, we could speak with the folks at ComStep and APPD and get back to you on that one.
Go on to my next question. This was directed to the KAISER program from Sarah. She was asking, do our residents live close to the hospital? And if so, how much is the cost of living and are there stipends? I would say most residents live in Oakland, but there definitely are a handful of people who live all over the Bay Area. So we have a bunch of people in San Francisco, as well as some people in the South Bay in San Jose, as well as people sort of on the other side of the tunnel, if you're aware of the geography out here in the Walnut Creek area. And I think even though the cost of living is pretty high on the West Coast, it's still affordable with our salaries and our stipends. I moved out here from a small city in South Carolina where I paid almost nothing in rent, so it was a huge sticker shock coming out here, but it's definitely doable. We get a housing stipend every year, which is $3,500. We get a very generous education fund, as well as funds for medical licenses and board prep and exams, as well as food money that we can use at the cafeteria. We get food catered to us, healthcare, dental, all of that is given. So even though the cost of living is high, we get a lot of help through the program, and I think we're pretty spoiled in that regard.
All right, sounds good. Our next question is going to be handled by Shawnice from KAISER NorCal as well. Similar question.
Great, yes. This one was from Twitter. The question was, how can I afford to live on the West Coast, which comes up often. And I can say, not just for our program, but for the surrounding programs in the Bay Area, it is definitely a livable salary to be a resident. Easier if you have more than one income, but I feel like most of the residents I know live a very comfortable lifestyle. So in addition to housing stipends and relocation stipends that different programs might offer, I think our program at least doesn't have any issues financially.
And I guess we could open up that question to other residents too, other residents or program directors.
So I can speak to Tucson cost of living, which is not like the rest of the West Coast. It is very, very, very cheap to live here. I am in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, quote unquote luxury apartment with like a gate and a gym, which just recently reopened, and a pool. It's super, super nice, and I pay maybe $1,200 a month after utilities. And I'm about a 10-minute drive from the hospital. So Tucson is super, super affordable. It's definitely the exception to the West Coast expensive rule. Yeah, I definitely am probably overpaying. Larissa says that's pretty pricey for Tucson.
There's a question on Twitter, maybe the different program directors can talk about it, but it's asking how the different programs support underrepresented medicine residents.
I can speak for for the U of A. For the U of A pediatric program, I am the program manager, and I manage our undergraduate as well as our graduate programs. We have a team of us working on it. So we work a lot with our Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion on the institution side. And through them, we offer resources there. Internally, we within our program include diversity topics in our didactic curriculum. And I did see, I'm going to just address it right now, the Spanish language pathway, which kind of ties into this, is something we offer a lot of different Spanish resources. While we were talking, I pulled up an email because I couldn't quite remember all of them. There's some online safe self-paced medical Spanish that we have access to for our residents. There's also a Spanish language healthcare disparities distinction track that's through our college that residents can be eligible for. So that's a little bit that our program does, but some of our residents may actually be part of that program and can speak more to that. And Dr. Crampton, if she's still on, probably can as well.
Just this is Rachel Crampton. Just to echo what Larissa was saying, and someone had a question, and I wasn't sure if it was about the Spanish language healthcare disparities track specifically. That is a combination of some language instruction, some seminars related to healthcare disparities specific to Spanish-speaking communities. For folks who come already speaking Spanish, there are a couple of different ways that residents can utilize that. They can either get certified to be bilingual. Well, get certified to be bilingual. You're bilingual or you're not, but they get certified to be able to use their Spanish with their patients directly, or there is a separate certification to get certified to be able to interpret for other people. And so if you are Spanish speaking and interested in working with Spanish speaking populations, Tucson is a great place to hang out.
And if you're not Spanish speaking, we have great in-person translators, video translators, and phone translators. So definitely not a prerequisite to being this close to the border. I do not speak Spanish even a little bit, and I've been able to get good translation services.
I also want to speak to those who are beginner Spanish like me at the U of A. We also offer multiple international opportunities for medical Spanish immersion that I'm actually currently planning on doing this coming spring, hopefully with COVID, in Peru, as well as we've had opportunities for medical, intensive medical immersion in Ecuador and in Mexico City that focus primarily on introducing Spanish and getting you comfortable with using your medical Spanish to the point where you may be able to translate later on and be able to speak a lot more comfortably with your patients.
Yeah, as a bilingual provider here in Tucson, after taking the certification exam, I'm able to provide direct care to my patients in Spanish without the need of an interpreter. And then also just to get an idea, I use Spanish at least 2 or 3 times per day with my patients, whether I'm in continuity clinic or I'm in a subspecialty clinic, also on the hospital wards. So it is a useful skill, although not necessary, but for those of us who are lucky enough to be bilingual, there's definitely great resources for us to become certified through Banner Health, and then also provide bilingual care for those most needed communities.
This is Brendan, one of the chiefs from Colorado. We also have a big Latinx community here. We have a lot of options in terms of what clinics you can go to. The one that I chose was at our county hospital clinic. There, the majority of my patients are Latinx, with the majority being solely Spanish speaking. I had the same opportunities to take coursework to be certified as a bilingual provider and not need an interpreter, which I use both at Children's as well as Denver Health.
All right, in the interest, I think, of getting a couple more questions in, I think we could probably move forward to the next one. There was a question in here that was specific for OHSU, and I'll direct that one to Dr. Van Meers.
The question is
Hey
from
guys, I'm a third-year resident at OHSU, and I think Megan, our program director, had some answer to this as well. I think it was regarding pathways and kind of what we do in terms of our individual curriculum time. Ours is definitely, we don't have any specific pathways requiring that you do certain electives if you're going towards research or QI, or you want to go to fellowship in a certain program. It's definitely a little bit more of a choose your own adventure. And so we end up having a total of 6 individual curriculum blocks between the 3 years of residency, and those are 3-week blocks for us. And so really it's basically that we have a whole large set of kind of pre-made curriculums that you can spend time in a subspecialty. I've done some dermatology, some ENT, but you can also use it for study abroad, so global health opportunities. You can use it to go do some medical Spanish learning, do research, do QI work. It's really, or also work in our more rural communities of Oregon. So I have co-residents who've done all of those different things.
Okay, next question. Looks like this one is being handled by Dr. Haiti from Valley Children's, so I'll let you take that one over.
Okay, so I'm Kelly. I'm from Valley Children's, and I guess the question was kind of a little bit answered in the chat, but kind of what Valley Children's is looking for in their incoming class of interns. And yes, Dr. Vinny, definitely we are looking for some people who are dedicated, have passion to serve, the underserved community, but also just people who are team players who, work well in the group. And, we're all med students and residents, and we're all very driven. But I think people who are able to work well with the team and, very, loyal to the group and not wanting to just rush out of there, making sure that the job is complete is important to us too.
Okay, so next question was claimed by Lydia. So if you wanted to address that one, feel free.
Okay, so this is a question to any program. It's an applicant saying, I am a public health service officer and I will be serving on a reservation after residency. I was wondering if there are opportunities to work off-site at different reservations during residency. I'll say for my program, there are opportunities for away rotation. So we don't have necessarily a collaboration or partnership with any reservation, in the West Coast or anything like that. But if you were to set up a rotation, it's definitely something that's supported through our Global Health Initiative and our away rotations. But I'll let other programs take that one.
I can echo kind of what Lydia was saying about not having a formal relationship, but it's very common for our residents to spend time in other parts of the state, in other parts of the country, or in other countries as part of a rural rotation or a global health rotation. And so we're very flexible in terms of supporting residents' interests in doing those different things, but we also don't have a formal relationship established.
At the U of A, because we are located where we're located, and some of the reservations are actually, minutes from the door. We have residents who have done elective experiences with various tribal communities, both in Tucson and remotely.
And I would say for OHSU, Portland has one of the largest urban Native American populations in the country. And one of our faculty members practices a couple of days a month at her tribal health center, and is very welcoming of residents joining her there. If our Northwest Center for Native American Excellence is a tremendous resource as well. And then we've also had residents who have spent time in Tuba City for an away experience, and one of our graduates is practicing there, so we have a strong affiliation with that.
Thank you.
I think at this point, we have had a chance to get through most of the questions that have come in through the chat box. Those who are monitoring the Twitter hashtag, any movement or anything particular that we need to address? or if anybody wants to chime in and talk about what their specific program is looking for an applicant as well, we have a couple more minutes before we're kicked out of the breakout room. That's welcome. Otherwise, we can wrap it up.
Can I just ask a question like on here?
Sure.
So for students who are applying from out of state, what are ways that we can show that we truly intend to or truly are interested in your program, since we can't really, fly out and show our commitment?
Yeah, I recognize it's a difficult year for everybody. I mean, we're all acknowledging that this is a very unusual circumstance. And I think the channels that are available are, in your personal statement. We'll have opportunities. I imagine a lot of the programs will have opportunities to meet with residents as well as faculties, both for, informal events and the interview day, to really share your interest. I think just getting to meet with you, we've come a long way with the virtual sort of networking and meetings and all of that. And so I think that's really available for you to share your interest. But we definitely are empathetic to the situation that all of our student applicants are in, with limited sub-internships and limited away rotations. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we're really open to hearing what you have to share, and just with you sharing your interest sincerely with the programs you're interested in.
And then just to add on to that, Brittany, this is Laurel from Colorado. I think, and I've said that to the med students who are at the University of Colorado, but it's really important, if you have a particular program that you're genuinely interested in, this year you might have to reach out a little extra, especially if people are applying to additional places and things like that, to show that genuine, interest. And so oftentimes the program websites have emails of the chiefs or the program coordinators, and if you haven't gotten an interview, for example, at somewhere that you're interested in, it does not hurt at all to email and say, hey, I haven't heard yet. I am very interested because XYZ. I don't think that hurts at all either.
I would echo that. And in Arizona, our intern class this year of 16 interns had 13 states represented. So we have lots of residents who didn't come from Arizona, and many of whom were not able to arrange, away electives or things like that. So expressing interest either by contacting the residents, contacting the chiefs, contacting, Larissa or myself or Dr. Frankie, the program director, Dr. Shihab, the other APD, and expressing your interest and the why of your interest, I think goes a long way.
Brittany, just to add on to that, I think, like Dr. Crampton said, it's why, right? Why do you want to go there? Or do you think you're going to fit in? And just clearly stating that you want to come, because it's really hard with the virtual platform to express interest. And I think you have to say it and express why you want to be a pediatrician and why you want to go to a certain program. I think that would be really helpful.
Thank y'all.
I want to also, because I know that the students in the group were randomly generated to be popped into this room, the main reason for the recordings is that the recordings, including the answers to the Q&A, will be available to you guys after this event. So if there are other programs from the Western region that tickled your fancy and you ended up not in a room with one of those programs, be sure to check out the recordings from the other breakout rooms, and you'll have opportunities to hear about those other programs as well, and get, look at the Q&A from those programs as well.
Looks like we have a couple more minutes if anybody wanted to ask a quick last minute burning question. All right, well, just double checking and making sure nothing else came through. I think it's a good time to probably wrap it up. So a huge, sincere thank you to the faculty, residents, coordinators, everybody who's able to tune in tonight and highlight their programs. And a huge thank you to all the applicants who tuned in during these unprecedented times and listening and participating. Like people have already mentioned, all of y'all are going through an entirely new interview experience and season, unlike anything that any of us on this side ever had to experience. So best of luck. Stay tuned in. Continue to follow the future PedsRes Twitter account for information about additional events in the future and for follow-up from this event as well and additional program info. With that, that's all I have. Have a good night.
Are we supposed to stay in here?
I don't think so. I think that we're dismissing straight from here.
I think we're done, right? Yep.
I think so.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.